Hi friends, welcome back to Behind the Bricks. It's Kim again. This time we're at the house designed by Prim Associate, which is the IE house. So the concept itself is compact with a contemporary tropical style. You can see it from the house itself. The main shape is a box. Now for the exterior, they use textured paint. Of course, for exteriors, that's something that lasts longer. We can also see there are two large openings here. Friends, this definitely fits the modern contemporary theme because it also lets a lot of light into the house. Now, underneath, we can see there's a planter box. The planter box here is designed so that as the plants grow and spread out in the future, they will cover the area underneath, which is the living room area. We'll see it later, so stay tuned, friends. In front here, we use brick veneer. Now, for the door, it's perforated. And in case you can't see it, you just slide it open like this. So, please come in. Now, for the carport area. Judging by the size, it fits one car and one motorcycle. The size of the andesite stone is approximately 10 by 10. When you enter, on our right side, there's a front garden. An area that's all green. Of course, this matches what the architect wanted. So there are stones, grass, and even plants that seem to come from outside. Okay, everyone, earlier I mentioned the planter box at the front. Now you can take a closer look at the planter box. So there's a kind of gap here. When the planter box comes down, it will cover the living room area that I mentioned earlier. So over there in the far corner, can you all see it? There's a kind of knob or handle there that's to open it. It's a storage space under the stairs. So the architect make use of the space under the stairs so that, the space isn't wasted. Everything is used. Now, this is the garden, everyone. So maybe later, if someone in the house needs to refresh, they can water the plants here. And here there are two gardens, the front garden and the back garden. Later, we'll also take a look inside, everyone. Let's go straight to the foyer area. So here we can see that all of the finishes used are brick veneers. So the sitting area is made of brick veneer, and the wall on the right, which is for the entrance, is also brick veneer. There is indeed some white on this side. The area is definitely designed by the architect to make it look more spacious, I guess, not too confined. Now, for the foyer area, you can see here that there's an opening. Now, if you look here, there's also an opening. So, one of the features of this house is that it has a lot of openings, allowing a lot of light to come in. Why? Because of its compact size. That's it. So, here, next to the door, there's a kind of transparent glass that functions to let the light in. And besides that, for the residents, when they want to open the door, they can see who's outside. So you don't need to look through the door itself. Now for the door, it's made from plywood that's covered with thick veneer. Let's go inside. Now we're inside. So on the first floor area on the right side, that's the living room. Its shape is designed so that it doesn't interfere with circulation. So it's suspended over there. Now, on my left side, there's a dining area and a pantry. The living room itself is made to be quite comfortable, friends. So as we can see, on the right side, there's the garden that we saw earlier in front, friends. So if we need air circulation or if there's a big event, we can open it up. That way the air can flow toward the backyard garden. I'll show you the backyard garden later, friends. So here, the place feels spacious because of the white color. Then there's so much sunlight and of course the double height space here. Like that. So later we'll also look upstairs, friends. So this is what was mentioned earlier at the front. the door for storage under the stairs. Now, here's another door. So over there is the first door and this is the second door, but they both lead to the same storage area. Alright, let's go straight to the dining area, friends. So this is the dining and kitchen area. But before we go here, let's take a look at the front garden and the garden in the back first. So this is the backyard garden. It's pretty much the same as the one in the front. So there are trees and greenery just like in the front, and there are also brick cladding, and of course it lets in light and air. So when the backyard and front yard areas are open, the cross ventilation really works well. Now here there's also a utility and laundry area right next to the backyard garden area. Then we move straight to the kitchen area. Here, as you can see, there are plenty of storage spaces provided and most of them are white. Then, so many appliances are accommodated by the spaces designed by the architect. And here, there are some electronic items like the refrigerator. What's interesting, friends, is that this refrigerator is hidden. At first, from the entrance, you see some brick tiles here, but it turns out that behind those brick tiles, there's a refrigerator, there's also an oven and a microwave. So if you look at the size, despite its size, it's so complete and packed with features. I would say this is pretty spectacular. So the owner also feels that their needs are met. Now you can also see here that the architect has created a space where the owner can go about their daily activities. For example, when you're washing up or tidying here, you have a view of the garden. And when you're doing chores, it's nice to have a view. We also need fresh air. We just need to open it. So it has already been considered by the architect. Yes, so there's no need to rely on air conditioning or fans. So friends, here we can see for the backsplash itself, it uses small mosaic patterns. This uses mosa tiles. Of course, when we're cooking, there will be oil splashes that will make the area around this wall dirty. Now, these small mosaic tiles are easier to clean when they get oil on them while we're doing activities. Okay, let's move on to the next room. Now, here we have a room which is the guest bedroom. The next room. The room is quite simple and modest, with a bed for 2 people and some storage space. Now, as for the walls, we can see that the architect added a recessed groove detail. So it's not just plain white like that. Now, for the openings, we can see that there's a window here, guys. It's to let in light and air, of course. Now, from here, we can see towards the airport. The airport, or maybe if there are guests, we can see who is coming from here. Alright, let's move on to the next room. Now from here, guys, let's go straight to the bathroom area. The bathroom here is definitely for people using the downstairs area, for guests or anyone else. Now, as for the door itself, if we look, the color is a bit different compared to the surroundings, right? There are maybe some stone tiles, some white, but here they use an aluminum color. Wow, it's pretty interesting, isn't it, guys? It definitely doesn't create a contrasting effect. It still looks elegant and attractive. Now, what I want to highlight here is that there's ventilation here, guys. So even when the door is closed, the air inside the bathroom can still flow outside. As for the contents, of course, there's a place for the shower and a place for the toilet, just like usual. And the colors are soothing, like there's gray and a mix of beige. Now, let's go straight to the second floor. Now we've arrived at the staircase area. Before going to the second floor, I want to share a little story with you, friends. So, for the staircase material itself, the surface is finished with SPC. For the construction, it uses concrete, so as we saw earlier, underneath the stairs. It's made as a kind of storage for items, right? And if we notice, the stairs are made in a U shape. The reason for that is so there's space for storage. So friends, earlier at the front, we saw that there was a window or a large opening. Now, if you look, that window faces the stairs. And of course, if you look at an opening this big, it provides enough light in the room inside this house. Usually, the stair area is a place that might lack light. But this time, with such a large opening, the light is definitely sufficient. Now, as I see it, this glass can't be opened, friends. It's a fixed glass panel, so it's just for letting in light. Now we've arrived on the second floor, friends. On the second floor, there are only bedrooms. Now I'm in the corridor on the second floor. What I want to highlight is that there's a slit in the wall along this corridor, friends. So if you see, friends, actually the function of the slit the architect created is to make this solid wall look lighter. That's also why the railing earlier was massive too. So its purpose is really to create some kind of accent so it doesn't look too massive. Now, let's go straight to, okay, this is the child's bedroom and we're not allowed to enter because earlier the owners say they want to keep their child's rest private inside. Let's just go straight to the bedroom. It's right here. Okay. The atmosphere is the same and the color scheme is also the same as the bathroom downstairs. So, Roman granite tiles, size 30 by 60. And then the color usage is a mix of gray and then beige. Also, this uses the same countertop material as the kitchen, so it's all the same. It's one material. There's also a shower here and a kind of opening to let in light and air. So when you're using the space, you don't need to turn on the lights if it's still bright outside, like it is now during the day. Let's go straight into the master bedroom that we've been waiting for, friends. Wow! So friends, you can see the master bedroom itself. The use of all its functions are covered. So there's a work desk and here there's also a walk-in closet to store clothes. There's also a place for makeup and wardrobes. Even though the room looks quite minimalistic to me, it still meets all the owner's needs. Over there, there's also a bathroom, guys. Bathroom. This is an opening that leads to the back room. It turns out there are two openings here, one on this side and one over there. So they create cross ventilation. One of the functions of the backyard is, well, from the architect's perspective and maybe the owners too, they feel that the light and air coming in from this window are really useful. So as we can see, this area here isn't attached to the neighbor behind. Well, I think that's everything, everyone. Now, let's go talk to the architect. So keep watching until the end.
The land area is now 8 by 12. That means it's 96 square meters. The building area is exactly 100. So the first floor is 58 and the second floor is 42. So the owner came with two problems or two wishes. The first one is that he wants a house with a mezzanine. So he wants to have a double height ceiling in the living room. That's the first one. The second is that there's a budget we have to respect. So there's a budget constraint. Because of the limited land and the budget constraint, we finally decided that maybe the approach should be a compact house. But how can this compact house still feel warm and comfortable? That's why we still incorporate tropical elements here. So you could say the concept is contemporary tropical. First, we really want to know what the space requirements are. So from the beginning, we know the land is 8 by 12. What are the space requirements? how many bedrooms? That's the most important thing. And secondly, what features do they want in this house? So we ask the client about that, and once we have the data, that's when we start to process it by zones. So we designate the first floor as the public zone, and the second floor is the private zone. So the first floor is for family gatherings, receiving guests, and doing more general activities. And upstairs, we really make it just for resting. So the master bedrooms, we put the children's rooms upstairs, while the guest room is on the first floor. So in this house, there are three bedrooms, and there's also a service area, but there's no maid's room. So the challenge is that it's very tight. So we also want this house to have a front yard and a backyard so that we get the tropical feel. We can get cross ventilation both on the first floor and the second floor. And that compact space can feel more spacious thanks to the backyard and front yard. The main material here, as you can see, is definitely terracotta or brick veneer. That's to interpret the Indonesian tropical style. Then we also combine it with beige as the exterior paint color. Now inside, we tone it down more. So we use white paint and this dark walnut wood. So outside, it feels more tropical, while inside, we get more of the contemporary feel. That's how it is. For the flooring, we use 60x60 size. The color we choose here is also a bit beige so that it can harmonize with the materials we used earlier. For the bathroom, we also use granite, but for the size, we use 30 by 60. That's more for variation. And for the texture, we chose one that feels a bit stone-like when you touch it. So it still feels tropical, even though it's not natural stone. That way, maintenance is also easier. And for the backsplash, we use mosaic. We use moza tile for that. The design phase took about 3 to 4 months, and the construction phase lasted 1 year and 1 month. The budget for this house was in the range of 7 to 7.5 million per square meter. It was built in 2024 and finished at the beginning of this year, 2025. You can check our portfolio on Instagram at prim.associates, or you can also check our profile on Arsita.